As we look past the blue truck across the street, why they're across the street, I have no freaking idea. These guys are running a week late. Of course, excuse after excuse after excuse. They had it on an 18-wheeler. They had it on an 18-wheeler, and they brought it over to this place called Copart, which is a place that is a brand new car place. And basically what we're talking about here is that car on the trailer. And if you look right there on the trailer, you can see what car we're talking about. This is my wonderful little Volkswagen that I call Maxwell. I sold it to a great lady that lives in New Jersey. She loves the little car. A tree fell on the car, and when the tree fell on the car, it crushed the top of the little car we named Maxwell, and she had it shipped all the way back down to Dallas, Texas, to my friend Pete's over here at Southwest Rod and Custom, SWRNC, to have Maxwell fixed and repaired. So anyway, I'm actually pissed off at these jerk-offs because it took them a week and a half to get here. Hopefully they won't drag and scratch the bottom of the car as they are unloading it. Okay. And these guys don't personally give a rat shit about the car or how they deliver the car, but the car is here. So the guy's gonna come over and talk to me, and hopefully everything will go smooth with the car. Bring it over here. Over here. Right here, guy.
Right here?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's a good driving car.
Yeah, I built that car.
Yeah, it runs great.
That was my car. It sounds like shit. That's me right here. Look, see? This is me right here.
Yeah, she told me, the woman I picked it up from, she said a tree hit it.
That's right. So why did it take you guys so long to get out here? That's what I'm actually asking about.
You broke down on the road.
You broke down on the road.
We honestly broke down, man. A spring broke and on the Peterbilt.
Okay, do I need to sign a paper?
No, everything's
Are we done?
Everything's done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you, man. Good meeting you.
Yes, you too.
Take care, pal.
We'll see you later.
Beautiful car you built. You really did.
Thank you very much.
This thing starts up every time I hit that key.
I built that motor and transmission. Thank you.
Loves it.
Okay, we'll see you later. Thank you very much.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Seen Maxwell over here in many years. I would say approximately 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. But it looks like we got a big job ahead of us to restore this little beauty queen, or I'm sorry, beauty king. We got a big job ahead of us, and hopefully we can actually straighten that roof out and fix it rather than replace it, because none of the doors are messed up. All the door openings and sills are still in excellent condition. And I'm thinking that possibly that might be the way to go. She's still going to have to get a new headliner in the car, whether we replace it or fix it. We do have a little issue right here. And I noticed when they opened the door, let's see, yeah, it still opens. So it did buckle the front door up just a hair. but that's fixable. We can fix that. When I first got this car, I actually had to replace this door. I picked this car up in San Jose, California from the original owner. I'll go ahead and tell you a little history behind it. So I picked the car up. I went all the way to California and purchased this car. I went all the way to San Jose, California. It was actually not in San Jose. It was in another town close to San Jose. And I got it from the original owner. The original owner bought this car back in 1964. He had 4 daughters that grew up in the car, and all 4 daughters drove the car for their very first car. All 4 daughters were first car drivers, this car right here. And every time that he would give the car to one of his daughters to be their first car, he would take it over to Earl Shives or Mako and have it painted. So there were 5 different colors on this car when I stripped it down to bare metal. 5 different colors. There was the original color, which was actually a dark forest green. Everybody knows that color. And then there were 4 other colors, and the last color was white. And I think, to me, it looked like they might have painted it white. Now, when his daughters, they painted it white by hand using spray cans and brushes. But the owner claimed that after his daughters grew up, he took this car right here, and this car traveled across the United States more than 10 times, and we're talking all the way from California to New York, all the way up into the deep far East Coast, all the way up through Canada, around through Alaska. This was the car that he used to tow behind his RV. So to me, this is not just a Volkswagen. This is not just your typical run-of-the-mill Volkswagen. This car has a lot of history behind it, because the fact that the original owner kept it all this time. And when I took the car and loaded it on my trailer, I'm gonna actually be honest with you, it was really sad, and I didn't want to take the car, because when I took the car, he was crying and tears were falling down his face as he saw his little Volkswagen leave his house. I watched him all the way through my rearview mirror as far as I could see him, and the last thing that I saw of the owner of this car was in my rearview mirror as I was going away from him in the distance, and he was waving. I don't think he was waving at me. I think he was waving at his little car. He said that he did name the car, but he wouldn't give me the name of the car that he named it. But you can tell that the guy was really sad to see his little friend leave him after all these years. So I grew very attached to this little car, and I've had hundreds of Volkswagens, hundreds of them, all the way from the 50s up through the 70s. And I'll tell you one thing, this particular car right here was the hardest car that I ever had letting go. And I think it's because of the history that the other owner had with this car and the story that he had behind it, and then all of the restoration that I did to this car. I did everything to this car except take it off of the pan. I did not take it off the pan, and the reason I didn't take it off the pan is because this car was rust free. It was very well taken care of. Now, it did have a lot of body work in it from 4 15-year-old daughters driving it. We had to replace the door, of course. It was either one of the doors, I don't remember which door it was. The bumpers had to be completely re-chromed, which these are the factory original bumpers. They are not aftermarket. I actually took the factory bumpers, and if you look right here, you can see that it even has the factory insert to protect the bumper in case it gets hit in the rear end. It protects the deck lid and the back end of the car. That was a item that you would special order from the dealership. I went ahead and put all brand new interior in it, brand new carpet, painted it inside and out. And this was the original headliner in the car when I got the car, and it was in real good shape. You can see what kind of shape it's in. And what I did is I went ahead and basically somebody had painted the headliner with white spray paint or house paint, and I stripped the headliner. I literally stripped the paint off the headliner using paint remover, and then I painted the headliner this oatmeal color that you see, so it would match the interior perfect. We can see that Natalie up in New York really takes care of the car, and it still looks pristine to this day. I mean, there's no dents anywhere in it. It's a beautiful little car. We got a few little items here. These were aftermarket headlights. You're going to expect those to rust out, being cheap, inexpensive. And then, of course, this looks like it's starting to wear out as well. Those were aftermarket. But other than that, and the roof being crushed in, I believe the car as a survivor. I look at this car, and a lot of people that are into these little Volkswagens, I look at this car as being not just a car that you drive, but a character that is part of your life. I remember adding this mirror to it, and I can see that it got bent. And hopefully, we might be able to bend that back up. That was a real pain in the ass, because this part right here is actually a hinge that you have to put in there. But that was a special mirror that I purchased for it, so it would have two mirrors on it. So it looks like that's still okay. But most people that purchase these cars and get very attached to them, and I'm talking about Volkswagens only, I'm not talking about other makes and models, they become part of you. And when the car becomes part of you, it's part of you for the rest of your life. So I can kind of see where Natalie was attached to this little car because of the history that is behind this car. We do have one problem with the car, and Natalie might not like the situation, but the green on the vehicle will all have to be painted, because this was a custom mixed color that I mixed up myself, and the paint that I had left over went bad on me. So to really do the car right, all the green will have to be repainted. I want to go ahead and explain that the tree that fell on this car, now you got to picture this because it's going to be kind of hard to explain. The car was parked in between two houses, and up in New York or New Jersey where she lived, the houses are real close together. The car sat out there, and she was going to put it in the garage, but they had a freak snowstorm, and her tree in the backyard, it was a 100-year-old tree, fell, and the only thing that stopped that tree from basically going into the other house and killing a little boy next door to her was this car right here. If this car wasn't here, that tree would have kept on falling on top of the other house and into the house where the little boy was actually looking out the window watching the tree fall on top of Maxwell. So Maxwell is not just an icon of Volkswagen history from California and all the way up to New York and possibly around the great Northern American continent that we live in, but he is also a hero that saved the life of a small little boy from him taking the damage on his car, and you can see that damage is pretty bad, to saving the life of a human being. So you go ahead and think about it yourself and try to explain why Maxwell ended up staying outside in that freak snowstorm, because Natalie puts him in the garage every day that she drives him, and she just happened to take him out on a drive that day. But you go ahead and try to figure it out and explain to yourself why Maxwell stayed outside and got crushed by a 100-year-old tree. And we're talking, this tree was possibly almost that size, if you can see where my finger is up there where that first arm comes out, maybe up to the other side. I don't know what kind of tree it was, but it was a giant tree. How it survived and only crushed the roof in. So we will be fixing Maxwell, because he deserves to be fixed and deserves to be restored and preserved to the magnitude of what this little car represents. As we look at the car, we can see that it only crushed the center of the roof here. All the window gaps look really good. It didn't get down into the window gaps. And even on the windshield, okay, even the windshield area is perfectly straight. God was there with Maxwell the day that he got crushed. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, looking at an old friend and having a tear roll down my face to remember the old man that used to own him, and a lady named Natalie that's keeping Maxwell's spirit going. Let's get this thing in the shop. Let's get her done. Let's get it worked on. And let's do it right. You heard the guys that dropped it off. They said this thing starts every time. This thing runs awesome. Could this be the real Herbie the Love Bug? Could this really be him? And not just some movie made up car that was created by Hollywood. We'll never know. We'll never know. But in my heart, I believe Maxwell is the real hero of the whole situation.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.